Brands on Brands.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This week we're talking about why you should create less and repurpose more. The secrets of content marketing. Check it out.
In a world where content is king and your reputation is your brand, how do you build a brand that matters? Welcome to Brands on Brands, a home for those that think different and push their boundaries. This is where branding that matters lives. Now, here is your host, Brandon Berkmeyer.
Hey, welcome to Brands on Brands on Brands. I'm Brandon Berkmeyer, your personal marketing coach, and I believe that building a brand that matters today is the only way for a business to thrive tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being here. Today, we're talking about content marketing, content strategy, specifically about repurposing. And I'll be giving you guys my top 10 reasons why content marketing should include repurposing and why it's probably more important than the content creation itself. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, especially with my own brand, my own content that I've been sharing with you guys. And I go out there, I try to learn the best practices. And this was the skill I wanted to develop the most, is really looking into what it is that makes a good content creator soar, what gets a brand's message out there to the most people. Because when I went to the marketing conventions and the podcast conventions and the places where people are creating consistently, what I found is everyone still had the same question. How do I develop more audience? How do I get more people hearing and seeing my message? I'm doing all this work creating, but how do I get more people to find it? And I believe the secret lies in what the secret to marketing has always been, which is messaging and attention. This combination of how you share that truth that's inside of you, but then how do you get it in front of all those people? So that's what we'll be talking about today and breaking down on the show. And I hope that resonates with you guys because I want to be able to help you find that growth you're looking for in your brand. So if you would like to refer back to anything you hear today, any specific lessons from today's episode, we've made it easy for you by making all of the notes from this show available for you to download. This is available for free only for the most recent 4 episodes of the show, starting with season 3. So grab them before they disappear at brandonbrands.com/notes. That's brandonbrands.com/notes. If you missed it, you can always sign up. If you don't get it within those 4 weeks, you can always sign up for our monthly wrap up at the same link, brandonbrands.com/notes, which is basically joining our email we send out every week. So making that available for you, because I know sometimes if you want to download a PDF and save it, that's easier than trying to remember the episode that you heard the stuff in. And I'm going to start doing that consistently to get you guys more of that content that you can keep on using. So that's it for that. And now let's jump into the show.
Brands on Brands.
If you've been wondering how to build a content strategy for your brand or business, you've come to the right place. Creating content for your brand is one of the best ways to help people discover you, get them to like you, and ultimately to convince them to purchase from you. This is especially true for anyone whose business relies on their reputation. If you want to be known as the #1 brand in your market or niche, building a content strategy is critical because, number 1, content can express your unique point of difference that separates you from the competition. What makes you different? Number 2, content can help new people discover your brand, driving awareness and interest. Number 3, content can help nurture relationships with potential customers who may buy from you in the future. And the best part of it all is what I've been saying since I've been starting this whole thing is anyone can create content. There is no barrier to entry. Everyone can and should create content that tells their story, that provides information about their products and services, and that engages with their potential customers. Now, I've chosen podcasting. You can choose whatever works for you, but I've found that that's, for me, what I can create the fastest at the highest rate so that I can get it out more often. Now, especially for the businesses whose reputation drives their business, content should be your priority. If you're a consultant, a coach, solopreneur, an expert in your field, Your content strategy can be the difference between success and failure. Content marketing is all about messaging and attention. Your message is about you and what you have to say. Attention is how you deliver that message to potential customers. The easiest way to get started creating content for your brand or business is to find your voice. I've said this many times before. Finding my voice has helped me build my personal brand. And the best way for you to find your voice is to use it. Use your voice. The fastest way to develop any skill is through practice. Today is the day to start creating content to help you find your voice, develop your message, and speak to your customers through your content. There's so many choices today for content creators. There's no excuses anymore. You can start a blog, you can start a podcast, you can start a YouTube channel, or you can start a channel on one of the many social media platforms. Pick whatever format works best for you to create content that serves your audience and that suits your preferred comfort zone for creating, whether it's video, audio, or written content, or whatever it is. If you need help building your content strategy, I'll say this. You can join our free insiders group to receive updates each week on these topics and more at brandonbrands.com/BTEAM. So this is the topic I'll be focusing on the most this season. And I'll tell you why. As someone who loves creating a podcast first and exploring how do you take that podcast and put it into other places, here's what I found. Some interesting facts for you. Because a lot of us have learned that podcasting isn't a great place to be discovered. It's a great place to create content, but it's not a great place to be discovered. So the other channels, though, if you want to create a podcast and push that podcast content to other channels, did you know that more than 70% of the time spent on YouTube is spent watching what the algorithm has decided to show you? It's what they recommend. And that's according to their chief product officer, Neil Mohan. In an interview he did with CNET back in 2018. 70% of the time spent with YouTube is spent with something the algorithm recommended. Their tool is doing the work to show your content to people. That's not happening with podcasting. Though again, I believe it's way easier to create a podcast than a YouTube channel. So if you create it and repurpose it, you're giving yourself the advantage of that discovery. Second thing, organic search produced 53% of all site traffic on the internet, period. So if you are creating a blog as opposed to a podcast, or you can convert your podcast into a blog, more than half of all website traffic is created because of organic search. That is things that Google has said, here, you should look at this. And if you add on top of that paid search, that's another 15%. You're talking 68% of all website traffic is generated based on what Google tells you to go look at, right? So my point is, if you can take your podcast and push it onto YouTube and take your podcast and create a blog with it, not just any blog, not just show notes, a proper blog, you're going to give yourself the advantage of discovery on the tools that were built best for that. And that's not even getting into advertising and social media posts. So this is what I've become obsessed with this season, is diving into how to help people take this work that they've created, this content they've created, and how to make it work for them more, how to make it go further and reach more people. So if you're just getting started creating content, or if you're already a blogger, a podcaster, a YouTube creator, or you're creating any kind of content for your personal brand, one of the most important parts of your content strategy is the process by which you amplify your message. Most of the content creators I've met or I've seen what they put out there, they're doing a great job creating, but are not fully amplifying their message. The number one thing you can do to increase your effectiveness of your content is to be very thoughtful about how you amplify your message. This means going beyond creating content and sharing just a few posts to social media. There are so many ways that you can amplify your message through recreation or repurposing. A few posts isn't going to cut it. And I promise you, that's what I had been doing and what a lot of people out there have been doing. And I know the reasons why. It's expensive. It's time consuming if you don't outsource it. It is more than you have time to do when you have a regular business you're running. But it's the thing that could take us the furthest. So why are we neglecting it so much? So here I figure if I can give you some reasons beyond these statistics I've shared to get you motivated to invest in your content strategy, to think about how you can be repurposing your content, here's my list. My 10 reasons that your content marketing should include repurposing. Number 1, reach. Reach is, the amount of people your content gets in front of. When you repurpose, it gives you more reach. You are allowed to build awareness more quickly across platforms. The more places you put it, the more people will see it. Number 2, frequency. This is a term that we use a lot in my 18 years at advertising agencies, frequency. There are more opportunities for recall, for people to remember seeing your message via increased exposure. In other words, if they see it more than once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6 times, the more they see it, the more likely they are to recall it, or for it to have impacted them in a way for them to say, you know what, I should take an action on that. So you get frequency. Number 3, longevity. Search and reposts offer a long-term opportunity for you to grow your audience. In other words, when you put your content into these other platforms and you repurpose it, number 1, it gives you a chance for that content to live a longer lifespan. Because when you put something out onto search, if you end up being found in the search engines, that's going to keep lasting year after year after year. Same thing with YouTube. And you have also the opportunity to repost. As you create and cut your content down into different pieces, repurposing it also means you reposting it in the future so that it doesn't just exist the day you released it to the world on the launch of that episode. It also exists 3 months later when you decide to repost that interesting comment that you made that you want to share with the world. Reason number 4 on my list of reasons why content marketing should include repurposing: authority. Each touch point creates a known for opportunity. In other words, every time someone sees you talking about that same topic or something within your wheelhouse, it gives them another reminder, another piece of proof that you are known for this thing that you're talking about. So authority starts to be created. Reason number 5, preference. People have their favorites. They have their favorite sources of media, the favorite channels that they listen to, their favorite shows. And as you repurpose your content and start putting it into all the different platforms, all the different places people consume, you're giving yourself a chance to be seen in the place where they spend the most time. And everyone's place is different. So you need to repurpose in a way that gets you out to more places so that more people can find you in the place that they are the most. Reason number 6 why content marketing should be included in your repurposing plan. Why repurposing should be included in your content marketing, I should say. Reason number 6 is impressions. For anyone who doesn't subscribe, at least they get an impression of you. Maybe they aren't someone who is on your channel and has said, I want to get recurring messages from these people. Every time you share a new repurposed piece of that content, it's an opportunity for that person to see you again, even if they didn't subscribe. Maybe they'll subscribe in the future because of that next impression. Reason number 7, retention. There are more chances for subscriber growth where they prefer to subscribe. In other words, if you repurposed your content into a blog, they might be more likely to sign up for your newsletter. If you repurposed it into YouTube and that's where they watch all the time, maybe they'll subscribe to you on YouTube. If they love to listen to podcasts and you have a podcast, they might subscribe and listen to you every week on a podcast. You have to give them a place where they like to binge content. You have to make sure it ends up in those places. But maybe they're just they're on Instagram 90% of the day. You have to be there so that they can, click follow and then consistently you show up in their feed. Number 8, reason why your content marketing plan should include repurposing: compounding. Now, what I mean by this is that each touch point, each time your message is shown to someone, it directs traffic through your funnel over time and builds SEO strength. In other words, every time you have an impact on someone, it is giving further proof that your message is important. So it tells all these search engines and algorithms and whatever else that more people are interested in your stuff. And as that happens over time, you get more credit for that. And you get rewarded for that, for doing that consistently over a period of time. And it has a compounding effect on your brand and your discoverability. Number 9, engagement. There's more chances to create compelling environments for your content with pictures and videos and quotes and memes and people sharing that with the other people. You creating all these new kind of versions of your content create more places where people can decide, that for me is the kind of thing I like to see. I love pictures. I love videos. I love a little clip. It's more engaging. It's an opportunity for someone to actually be like, oh, I love that. I want to interact with it. I want to make a comment, whatever it is. so your engagement increases. And number 10 on your reasons why your content marketing should include repurposing. Number 10, ROI, return on investment. With each new piece of content, every time you share that content to more places, you give that individual piece of content an increased chance for exposure and return on investment. In other words, if I create this thing once and it takes me an hour and I share it in one place and 10 people see it, that return on investment is not very high. But if I share it and then it goes to 5 more places and then 10 more places, and that means 100 people see it or 1,000 people see it or 10,000 people see it, the return on my time for that one thing that I created suddenly is a lot higher than it ever could have been before. And that also drives bottom line business results. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope that you see that if you take the time to build repurposing into your content strategy, you will find a way to make a stronger impact on the people that are finding you, and there will be more people finding you. And it's something that I will say I did neglect from the beginning, but it's something that I've seen can make such a difference to people. But it has to be strategic. It has to be designed and planned. And I realize that that's a lot of work and a lot of time. So my goal is over the course of this season to explain and to share with you the things that I've discovered that make it faster and easier and cost less money to build those audiences and to share your content across more channels. Because there are tools out there, there are approaches and tactics, but you have to have a system for doing all of this. And that's what we're building here at brandonbrands.com. And that's what I want to share with you. So again, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, go to brandonbrands.com/BTEAM to get updates every week. Or if you want the notes from this show specifically, go to brandonbrands.com/notes to download the PDF so you can get those bullets out for you and the notes from the show, all those highlights and tips and those top 10 reasons. Appreciate you guys listening. Hope you guys will tune in as we keep on hitting content this season and sharing with you what we're learning to help you build your brand, build your business, and grow as a creator, as a solopreneur, as a coach. I'm here for you guys. Brands on brands on brands. Keep it going. Thanks for listening.
You've just taken your marketing knowledge to another level with this episode of Brands on Brands. But we have plenty more ways to help you build a brand that matters. Head over to brandsonbrands.com for resources, as well as access to our blogs, videos, and exclusive coaching sessions with your host. Be sure to visit brandsonbrands.com.